Hey, so I went to Humanities today, and my teacher was like, well, this week is midterms week, so I figured that we should do some writing, since we have to submit grades next week and everything. So he said, we're going to write a paper, which is perfectly understandable. I get that. And, normally this is the point where the teacher would go into what you can write the paper on, the structure of the paper, and stuff like that. That was all he said. We're supposed to write a paper and turn it on Tuesday. And then he asked if we had any questions. And, I was just kind of dumbfounded. I'm like, I don't even think I know enough information to ask a question. This is like the most vague assignment I've ever been given. It was just one of those moments where you're just totally dumbfounded and have no idea what to say. And then the teacher moves on, and you still have no idea what you're supposed to be doing. But I'm just kind of take it with a grain of salt, and if that even makes sense in this situation. But yeah, so I came up with a couple of ideas of things to write papers on, but I haven't decided which one. I came up with two different ideas that are pretty different, and so I'm still trying to decide which one I want to write about. Stuck between existentialism and Darwinism, which really have nothing to do with each other at all. Those are the two things that we've talked about in the class so far that I was interested in, so I don't know. I ordered a book online about existentialism, so I might be doing it on that, since I have a whole book full of writings by people who were existentialists. If I do Darwinism, then it'll be mostly based on the movie adaptation, which I actually hated that movie when I first saw it, and then I watched it for this class, and now I love it because I realized that you can't just watch it for just like the surface storyline. You have to look a lot deeper into the movie to really understand what it's about. So once I did that, I really liked that movie, and I wish I hadn't gotten rid of my copy of it, because I actually used to own it, and now I don't. I think I'm just going to do existentialism. I don't know. I was sitting at lunch trying to figure this all out, and I had my notebook out, and I was just sitting there, trying to plan my papers, and, at first I was just totally decided on existentialism, so I was, planning out, the structure of the paper, what I was going to talk about, and all that kind of stuff. And then suddenly adaptation popped in my mind. I was like, well, that has nothing to do with existentialism, that was Darwinism. So, in the margin of the paper, I start writing about adaptation, because I was trying to get out of my mind, and just suddenly stemmed into all these different ideas, and suddenly the existentialism paper was taken over with Darwinism, which is why I'm so confused on what I'm going to do it on, since I was so set on doing it on existentialism, but then I got really caught up in the Darwinism. So just see what happens, and I may end up with two papers, because I really want to write about both subjects, which I know is kind of nerdy, but I do want to write on both of them, so I might just write two papers and just decide which one I think will get the better grade. I don't know, I guess we'll just see what happens.